All right. Welcome, everybody. We have a very special episode of the Daily Dose Podcast. I have a very special guest, one of the big man behind the scenes at one of the biggest gyms in the MMA history. We have Misha, the general manager of Jacksonwink. How you doing today, Misha?
What's up, buddy? Quite an introduction.
Yeah, and that's one of the kind of things I wanted to do. Obviously, we'll go into details on tons of stuff, but I know that you have a big part, a lot of the stuff behind the scenes, right? So, just wanted to kind of highlight a little bit of that.
Thank you.
Of course, man. So before all that, I know you as well. Kind of, you were born in Moscow, right?
Yep.
And you had a kind of judo, samba, kind of a lot of stuff at a young age. How did you come into that?
I mean, when you grow up in Russia, it's kind of part of the culture, no matter what, everyone trains for the most part in something, So I dabbled in different things, I did a little bit of gymnastics, sambo, judo, and then when I came here, I fell in love with like jiu-jitsu in general. So yeah, been training a lot for most of my life, and that's very fun.
No, that's awesome. And kind of how was it in Moscow? Did you go to school out there, train, just kind of a family life? What was it like out there?
I mean, I was growing up during like very hard years that Russia experiences during like Afghanistan war, then the Chechen war, the first war,
Right.
second Chechen war. So it's a pretty pretty bad environment overall. That's when the Soviet Union fell apart and all those things. So um, it wasn't easy. I mean, I went to school. It's kind of like it's called Sambo 70. It's one of
Right.
the biggest. Not the biggest, the biggest sambo school in the world. That's where like kind of like similar to what we do, where fighters live, train, and the only things that they go to school and study and academically. And
Right.
that's compare it, which is very comparative to Kodokan, in Japan,
Uh-huh.
like the Judo Institute, the Kodokan. So
Absolutely.
the one that, and I lived, a couple subway stations away from it. And it was pretty surreal. It's a place huge. It's like Olympic mats type of stuff. Very long building, like with a lot of mats, space, and constant competition. There's just some strong young kids get developed there.
Oh, definitely. No, I'm sure, and you probably brought a lot of that here. So then, what kind of brought you to the States?
I mean, just life in general.
Yeah, just life
It's
brought you.
life. The Russia was, yeah. And when I was growing up there, it was only a couple ways out. I kind of was on my own, like street life and kind of like it was very hard. Schools were very bad. There was a lot of crime on the streets. It was a very painful, scary experience growing up there because Russia was always at war,
Right.
and and you were on the verge of getting called in, or there's like war everywhere. Like either it's on the streets, or it was or in school. You go to military, there's a war within the military because if you are a rookie, they treated you really bad. It was just everywhere you went, it was like constant survival. So, I mean, I was young. My mom put me on the plane and just like get the hell out of here. So,
Yeah. No, that's very interesting. So, was New Mexico where you ended up first, or did you go?
no, 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 no. I've been all over America, man. I've been in the United
Okay.
States. Yeah, mostly East Coast. I ended up in the United States Navy, served there. I I've been I've been half of states of this country. I've been a lot of places, and um, some West Coast, some East Coast, most of it East Coast. New York, I lived in New York a very long time. Can't stand that city, honest to God.
It's packed.
Yeah, it's not just packed. It's just also a lot of crime, a lot of
Oh
poverty,
yeah.
a lot of like I need space. A lot of angry people, always issues, problems, traffic everywhere. Anywhere you go, it's hour and a half, freaking extra it takes. If you drive a car, it's just looking for parking space. No, it's not for me. It's
Yeah.
absolutely not for me. New Jersey is the same thing. It's just New Jersey was more a little bit spread out, nicer and stuff, but um, still crazy traffic everywhere. It's tri-state, a lot of people live in New Jersey to go to New York, so
Yeah, very
they
similar.
they work in New York, so New Mexico for me is probably one of the nicest places in general that I've lived, like Albuquerque, because obviously Albuquerque is not known to be super nice, but in regards to poverty and crime and education and whatnot. But I mean, if it wasn't for this gym, I probably wouldn't be here,
Right.
but this gym is my life, and it's just the way the life played out. But I love it here. I just absolutely love it. It's I always tell people, like, if you look for trouble, you'll find it. If you don't, you'll be all right.
Um, but yeah, so you were kind of talking to everything, before that, and based on New Mexico. So then what kind of ended up leading you, not to New Mexico, but Jacksonwink in particular?
Well, New Mexico, well, Jacksonwink is what led me to New Mexico, honestly. Like
Right.
this, like I've never like I knew about Greg Jackson and certain camps and stuff like that. And I mean, I've been a fan of MMA since the days of VHS tapes and where you had to like you know VCR tapes. You got them at a blockbuster, not even blockbuster, some like underground, some like whatever video store. And when it landed on my lap, I believe I was like just when I came to America, like 16, 17 or something. Like I watched it, I was like blown away how fun that sport was, and then I started seeing like some of the Russians competing, Igor Zinoviev, like Oleg Doktorov, like the first names, and then Pride came about, and I was completely hooked on Pride when the rise of Fedor Emelianenko. Of course, I was a Russian and following all that
Yeah.
stuff, but I knew everything about everybody. I knew everything about everybody, and I followed the sport pretty well. And they used to do this like backstage type of stuff. You've seen it, right? Like how they were like Fyodor sitting there. There'd be like some guys would be like sitting drinking vodka while he's getting ready and playing cards. They'd be
Yeah.
playing cards, and it's like. And I always thought to myself, man, like, how cool would that be? Like not even be the fighter, but be part of that environment. Being like part of some badass camp and be part of that action that happens. And before you know it, man, I'm like deep into the action, which is like I always say, life works in mysterious ways. So it's like see right now you're doing podcasts, the same thing. Like I ended up doing a lot of things like with fighters and doing a lot of cool stuff, and before you know it, it's like Ariel Helwani. A lot of these people, right, personalities, the things you start at the bottom and work yourself up as long as you know, as long as this is your passion and it's something you want to do. And I started traveling. Like I was in New Jersey at the time. I was in car business. I was doing pretty good. Uh, and then I met some Russians and stuff. And I was training jujitsu already. I kind of fell in love with it. Nothing serious. And before you know it, like I said, like I met these people. And like, oh, like yeah, we work with some fighters. We just started. It was like a new management company, and they were bringing the Russian fighters over here. And from Chechnya, from Russia, from Dagestan, all that stuff. And they were like the first team that brought Habib Nurmagomedov here, Adlan Amagov, Timur Valiev, a lot of these guys. And I was traveling with them, and a lot of them didn't speak English, and I was like, man, that car business like is just draining me. And
Oh yeah.
the life was very monotone. It was chasing numbers and trying to sell cars, and I was running dealership. I was doing good financial. But I was like, Jesus Christ, I got a phone call.
Ah, you're good.
I was like, that's not for me. Like I was like, I'm tired of it. It's just like you eat like crap. You work from 7 at night, so it's like you do it just to survive in a way. Like, oh, money is great, so let's keep doing it for as long as you can. But at the end of the day, it's like it's so boring and just dealing with people. It's like I'm tired. And
No, definitely.
and I started traveling with a lot of fighters, and just like it all happened organically. I didn't force it. And I started traveling. That's how I ended up here. I came here with first, I think first was with Adlan Amagov. He's one of the biggest names um, in UFC at that time coming up, and then Rustam Khabilov and like the original fighters out of Russia that represented this team. That's when the first wave of Russians started coming in. Well, I call them Russians, but like Caucasus guys, from Dagestan, from mountains. and that's when the first wave. So I was part of that first influx of fighters coming in. So and that's how I ended up here. I came for a couple camps. I guess Coach Wink, was opening a new gym. We started talking, and he saw potential in me, and just offered me this position. So,
So that was kind of your first right away, after meeting him and stuff, you just hopped right into general manager.
yeah, he brought me to the new building, see his building, because the new building hasn't built yet. Started showing me around, and I was like, "Oh boy!" I'm like, "What am I doing here?" Like, and, I knew who Coach Wink was, I knew who Greg Jackson was, I knew what kind of names. Like, because I started coming here with the fighters, I see all the superstars, John Jones, Diego Sanchez, all the guys that you kind of like I watched,
Yeah, definitely.
especially during golden days of MMA, right? Like right now, it's just nonstop. Like you don't even know who the hell is fighting. Before we're just like everybody who fought had names and they're like respected differently. Even the fighters are respected now too. It just was now it's so oversaturated, right? Like you'll turn UFC card on, like who the hell are these people? Like every day. I guess due to content before, every fighter had a personality, like Carlos Condit, with his Venom or like Head Rush. Remember, Tito Ortiz with his punish whatever the punishment, like whatever.
Yeah.
Remember Chuck Liddell with his whatever that every fighter stood on their own, and there were characters and there were personalities, and I believe it was much more interesting to watch at that time, and now it's like an incubator, just like whatever, same same thing. It's whoever the loudest on social media, and you know I don't enjoy it as
Yeah,
much.
some of those Apex cards are like literally no names you've ever heard of or anything like that. Some of those are definitely getting a little tough. Like you said, in that day and age, in the beginning days, it was just superstar after superstar.
Yeah.
So
Epic said, I mean, I like what they're doing. There's so many more opportunities for fighters. Like, look at Stevie, like, right? Like, you got the
oh
progression.
yeah,
I love the Epics cards. I just wish that there was a way where they allowed fighters to customize and create their own character within the game.
right.
Like, not everyone looked the same. Like where custom gear, like where you get to be who you want to be, not just like, okay, here's Reebok and just you all Reebok. So it's like, well, I mean, it's entertainment business. Don't you want fighters to, stand on their own? They're individuals, you know what I'm saying? So then it's not a team sport.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And what's it like being around, Coach Wink, Coach Jackson, Coach Joey, obviously some of the best minds, in the game. How is it like out there with them?
Very fun, man. Very fun. I mean, every day is something new, very unique. Very unique, they're very unique people. They're very good people. Um, the opposite of each other, obviously. It's kind of funny how like opposites attract each other, So they're different in how they operate. They have different personalities. Uh, Coach Wink is a little bit more like rugged, I would say. Like hardcore, old school. You know, um, that he's actually working in. And Greg
Yeah.
Jackson more mellow. Greg Jackson want to be alone with everybody, and that type of stuff. And two different personalities, but they match each other. So
Yeah, definitely. What are some of your main focuses as the general manager out there?
what isn't, like I mean, if you talk about fight game, pretty much everything. I mean, main focus to make sure the overhead is paid, right? Like the make sure that the gym is filled with good people and good fighters, and um, I mean, dealing with knuckleheads is always you know how it is. You train
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
a lot of characters here. It's always when there's a lot of personality, there's a lot of problems, obviously, So it's people living together, trying to share the same space. So you got always, a lot of people coming off the streets thinking that they need the next big thing. So it's like, that's why I carry. I deal with stalkers. The Star Gym has stalkers. Holly has stalkers. So it's like, thousands of emails every day, messages. Now, we have our own management program, so it's hundreds of fights. Pretty much all the fights that are coming out here are coming out because of our management program. I've built a really, really good team around us. So just a matter of time, we're trying to change up the game a little bit. We'll be coming out with some new things soon, of how we're going to operate, because we are already getting a lot of people from other management companies. I'm not going to say names, but like a lot of people contacting us and saying their managers are not doing anything for them, and they're on the contract, but nothing is happening. So we're creating this a matchmaking service that, like, hey, even if you're managed by somebody, like, if they're not doing anything for you, you're like, like, it's your call at the end of the day. Like, if you want to hire some other guys that are going to help you to achieve the dream. Because the reason we started the management company is because I've seen so many managers come in and they just waste our time, and they don't help any of our guys. They have no skin in the game in the gym. At the end of the day, that's how most of the management were born, right? Because of this OG gym, right? Our regional gangster, right? The gym, Jacksonwink, they've been here forever. And all this management, when I came in, our major focus was always on training, just training, right? And, we were so big and so many big names and fighters. That's how, like, a lot of these fallouts happen, and the gyms go up and down again because all these personalities and these managers were coming in and like, who's your best guy? Who's your best guy, right? And they take him away. They take him away, right? They get into the fighter's ear. I will do this, I will do that for you, and then before you know it, like, you didn't see them or nothing is done with them. I had so many guys get signed by managers, and they're just sitting on a shelf, and then we would be the ones. Like, I saw their pain. They're like, "Why? I got this good guy. Like, why aren't he fighting? Why aren't he fighting? Why aren't he fighting?" You know what I'm saying? And you know how it is. Everybody walking around is like, I need to fight, I need to fight, I need to fight. I'm like, well, find yourself a manager, Like, pretty much,
Yeah.
pretty much, I had to do it all myself, everything, in order to keep the house operational, because there's so many gyms around. I got people calling me from ATT, from Syndicate, from Extreme Couture. Is like, bro, we can't get in fights. Nobody's helping us with fights. Training is good, yeah. We got all these guys, all these famous fighters, and all they're taking pictures and all, like, get good training. Yeah, it's good. A lot of great camps, but how many fighters are actually being built? How many fighters are actually being offered opportunities? Like, and many of them are managed. I'm like, and by a very big management firm. So I'm like, well, kind of tells me everything you need to know. They just that system is old. A lot of the original big management companies already blew up. They have a lot of stars. They cemented themselves in UFC, you know. But what about the little guy? What about the guy that's trying to come up? Okay, I believe a lot of these people are evil. It's honest to God, and they just sign people just to sign, and they don't do shit with them, and the guys just sit on that, sit and do nothing. And I can't let that happen with our own guys, the guys that we invest in, the guys that we protect. So I'm like, well, we got to keep it everything under one room. So I found the right people that working. We started doing visas for international fighters, because, I mean, I get thousands of inquiries, bro. This is only my if it was only my one job, I mean, we'd blow it out of proportion, but I have 1,000 other things on my table, dealing with sponsors, dealing with, I mean, you know how busy I am, right? So it's got,
Absolutely.
and it's more, a lot of it is dealing with young guys, right? That are just like coming from hard backgrounds, and they're all looking at you to make their dreams come true, but a lot of them don't do the work required for that. So there's a lot of abuse going on within, you know, of people that, because fighters, like, you know how it is. They come in, they don't have education, some of them, most of them, they come from hard lives, hard backgrounds, you know, life of crime, life of streets, drug use, alcohol. So, and they're still young, right? They don't know the path. You try to put them on the right path, but some of them are just so deep into their way of life that it's very hard to get them out of there. So it's like, I'm a psychologist, I'm a psychiatrist, I'm freaking everything, right? the girlfriend problems fall in my lap. Somebody got in a fight falls on my lap. Like so, it's constant, nonstop. Like I've never been as busy in my life as this gym. Like I've been really busy, but by far, at least before you'd be like, okay, my time is over. I go home. That's it. Life is,
Right.
you go home to your life. I don't have that anymore. Like it's just my phone is now we added so many new programs. The wrestling program you see, right? They're taking up. Got my son wrestling. We got some good kids that are doing a lot of great things. So, and we're adding a lot more programs. So, it's yeah. I mean, I can talk for hours about things that I have to deal with.
Yeah. Well, and everybody wants to be a world champ, right, and fight yesterday, and they want the
Yeah,
big paycheck. And but like you said, there's a process that you try and guide them through. Like, hey, if this is actually what you want to do, this is how you got to do it. So
yeah,
I think that'll be a great tool, and you guys have a lot of success because, like you said,
yeah.
getting that initial start is sometimes the hardest
Yeah, yeah,
part.
yeah. We're in the rebuilding stages, too. Like right now, we're having a lot of successes. You see, Gable is here. Holly's boxing for world title. We got some badass prospects coming up, dominating on Fury, LFA, CFFC. I mean, we got major prospects. The only thing is just it takes time, right? Like Carlos Condon didn't become Carlos Condon overnight, right? Like John Jones didn't become. It's a lifetime of hard work and, if you could say, life luck, right? Like if all the cards fall into place, right? Like look at Steve Garcia, right? Like other like when I came in, it's like hundreds of fighters. Like you don't know who's going to rise up, right? You watch,
Yeah,
yeah. Always like they say he lost a bunch of times in the beginning, right? It's hard, but then before you know it, like you learn on your losses, and before you know, you just catapult into stardom, like which almost feels like overnight, but it's not overnight because you saw all his struggles and tribulations, And then there's Pico, right, where everyone considers like this is the next biggest thing, right? And boom, who could predict that? It's the most unpredictable sport and the most up and down sport, and the people don't see what we have to deal with. They only see you for that. If you got knocked out or if you struggle for that, they only see you for that 15 minutes,
absolutely.
And yeah, but there's so much more to it. You know that.
No, and that's what most people don't realize. It's like what it took to get to that moment, what they've already been through, and that's why I try and explain the little I know from the experiences I got to be a part of. And shoot, I know I got to see some pretty crazy sparring sessions and stuff. Is there any off the top of your head that you remember was a crazy sparring session? Maybe some legends, something that you can think of.
Oh, broke, I
I'm like, I know I've seen a good amount. I'm like, I
mean,
can only imagine.
I mean, bro, 10 years being here. I mean, what haven't I seen?
Yeah.
Uh,
Uh,
and what comes to mind? It was always fun to watch. Andrei Arlovsky was fun to watch. Diego Sanchez scrapping. I mean, I can tell which ones were very fun to watch. Now Steve Garcia fun to watch because he's like so like he's in the Matrix.
yeah,
Holly was always fun to watch because even the guys were afraid of her left kick. There's so many. I mean, so many things that we can talk about in regards to what happens within these doors. Um, that'd be like a separate episode for like
yeah.
3 hours.
No, no, seriously. I mean, I know I've seen and had the pleasure to be around a lot of people on the mat, and I know you said you gotta get out of here in just a sec. Kind of before we get you out of here, for anybody that wants to be a part of it, come train, come join Jackson's. What are some things they should know or kind of bring to the table to be a part of it?
I mean, everything is possible. I mean, this is like I said, like in order to succeed in that, and I mean, this sport is not for everybody. This is a very difficult sport. Not in regards to sport itself. Like you could be a great athlete, you can have a good work ethic, right? But then the life gets in the way a lot, right? So like you have to make sure, you have to pay to be here, right? Like we're not a charity, right? Like we have to pay bills. It's a big overhead, right? Like we invest in people, we help a lot of people, but the same thing, everyone has to bring something to the table. Like you got to have skin in the game. Like a lot of people drifters too, like they get through, they this, that, like you don't know who's going to be the next person, they take advantage of us, even though we know we've been taking advantage of us, but it's just cost of operating, right? Like it's just, you don't know who's the next big thing. Like one injury happens, they're gone, like they'll lose two, three, they might be on a good trajectory, kicking ass, and then boom, two, three, four losses in a row, and they've forgotten, we invested so much time into it. But so like, if you are coming to this house, I have respect for people that are doing this. It's a legendary place. And success breeds success. Nothing happens overnight. It's a long journey. But I mean, we have it too easy in America because I have people contacting us from all around the world. That's why people like right now a lot of conversations like so many foreigners are dominating in UFC, right? And people are like, well, yeah, but UFC was 80% of UFC were American champions, blah blah blah. Yeah, but it just recently became popular around the world. So if and it's an American promotion, right? And we have it so easy, and people are so lazy in here, right? That they're not fighting tooth and nail for their opportunities. You know what I'm saying? Where guys coming from overseas, they come with excruciating poverty, with absolutely no future. Here in America, you have a lot of future. Even if you don't go into sport, you have options. When the guys are coming from the mountains and there's no other options whatsoever but to fight, and they come here with 200-300 fights already, an amateur. For them, they're immune to this pain. They're immune to struggle. They just one goal in mind, and that's it. That's why they're dominating from Africa, from Dagestan, from Russia, from Georgia. They say, oh, they live in America. Yeah, but where did they come from? They come from that culture, that hardcore culture, right? We don't have the hardcore culture, you know? We don't, really don't in America anymore. It's just like, where's that struggle? Where's that desire to be the best? Like, why aren't people putting themselves in a position where, like, I must succeed, right? The old guard did great, right? They busted their ass, blah, blah, blah. But now with this, I think with the social media and with the rise of fighters and like so quick, right? Like you see guys that are just like boom, 5 fights and then UFC and it's megastar, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I can get there. But it's like, no, it's like 0.111%. Most of these guys have a hard, long path. Look at Steve Garcia. Nobody gave him a chance. Nobody thought of him that this a guy. He stayed quiet. He's like, I'm not a social media guy. I'm not going to sit there and talk shit online, you know. But then he just like, I'll prove him with my work, and he kept getting better, and kept getting better, and kept getting better, kept getting better, and just grinding and grinding, never giving up. And before you know it, that's a megastar. That's the guy you want to get behind. That is a hard path, you know. But everybody thinks it's just like because you have social media and you're getting followers and you're doing dumb shit online all the time, that makes you look retarded. Sorry, we can use that word now, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And,
no, you're good here. No, that's
you
well
know,
said, man. And
then you think like, oh, all these doors will open up. Nah, bro, this is temporary. This is just instant gratification for whatever, like gaining your likes and followers. But then there you got to win fights, and you got
yeah,
to good, and you got to, Stevie 18. How many fights he has? At 20 some. Yeah, no, yeah, you gotta grind. You got to be obsessed with it. Obsession to the point of misery, where like if you don't do everything that all the people have done before you and you don't listen to these people, you'll never make it. If you listen to these people and do what these people have done and you don't, I mean, Holly had losses, right? And excruciating losses. From losses that most people don't come back, right? But she did. That's why she's an icon of the sport. Look at her Wikipedia. You can read that thing for an hour. Just look at
oh
it.
yeah,
Read. It's the amount of accomplishment this woman had is just insane because she fought every freaking weekend. Now people are like, oh, I won't take this fight. I won't take this fight. No, it's like if this is the path you chose and you want to be a professional fighter, there's no other way but to go through hundreds of fights on the regional circuits, take boxing fights, grappling fights, wrestling, any combat sports thing you can put your hands on. Lose, win, draw, doesn't matter. Lose, I would rather you compete and lose way, way, way more, and then just I know you will blossom if you're
right.
doing that. But if you're not doing it, you're just training and waiting for this one opportunity, amateur fight opportunity once in the blue moon, you're never making it. I'm sorry, you will never make it. Absolutely not. And
Definitely
that's
have to put in the 10,000 hours, you know?
maybe if you're training for yourself, it's fine. If you just want to know the sport, you want to know you like it, it's good, it's healthy. I do it for myself, great, no problem. But if you're legitimately into and want to make a career out of the sport, it's just, yeah,
No, it's way harder than people think. Like I said, you got to be dedicated. You got to put the work in, and it's just that, I got to see, just the side I got to see, and it's way more than people think, and that's why fighters and people like Steve who actually do it the hard way should be respected way more. So
100%, 100%.
you know, I
Now everybody, if you have 3 4 fights and you're making a big online presence, everybody talking about it, you can have a clear fast path, to stardom. And before social media, right? Like nobody, like how would you become who you become? Like Mike Tyson, for example, right? You beat everybody. You beat the murderers row, right? Muhammad Ali, you beat the murderers row, right? To make a name for yourself, you know. So there's good and bad with that, but again, that's my suggestion. That's the only thing I can say. And
No, absolutely, man. It was well said. I appreciate some of the insight. I know you very busy, behind the scenes keeping things going. I truly do appreciate it, guys. Misha, the general manager of Jacksonwink MMA. Thank you for coming on. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, guys. We'll see you soon. Thank you.
thank you, buddy. Come back soon. Train with us, man. Bring
I
Orlando.
def I, I definitely will. My
Yeah,
back's about ready to go, so
good,
I'll be
good,
back soon.
good. Bring Orlando too. We like Orlando.
Exactly. I'll
Yeah.
make him come back down and we'll pull up, man. So thank
All
you,
right.
bro.
Talk soon. All right, buddy. All right.
We'll see you, man.
All right. Bye.